Hello everyone, and welcome to our first lesson on using Orchard Core. Orchard Core is both an application framework and a content management system that lets you build and manage multiple websites quickly and effectively using its flexible architecture. Before we dive into the lessons, let's talk about your background and experience. For this series, it's recommended that you have a solid grasp of HTML. You should also be familiar with CSS and ideally the Bootstrap framework. It's helpful to have a basic understanding in JavaScript and jQuery as well. And if you are a developer, and background in .NET is ideal since Orchard Core is built in .NET Framework. However, if your background is in other object-oriented languages like Java, you can still make it. If you are not familiar with those technologies, I suggest checking other introductory tutorials on YouTube for HTML, Bootstrap, and basic programming concepts before you follow those series. Okay, and now let's see the main features of Orchard Core. As mentioned, it's built in .NET and typically suited for .NET developers. That said, you're welcome to use it regardless of your programming background. In most cases, you won't need to write much code unless you're developing custom modules or themes. We'll explore more those advanced topics later on those series. Orchard Core is open source. That means that you can freely download the entire source code, contribute to the community, or develop your own custom features. It's a multi-tenant application, meaning that you can run multiple websites from a single hosted application. This allows you to manage several sites effectively without deploying separate apps for each one. Orchard Core is modular and is highly extendable. Features are packaged as modules within the base code, and you can write your own modules to expand this functionality as needed for your business. Orchard Core is also multilingual, with support for a wide range of languages. You can maintain content in different languages within the CMS, allow users to switch between English, Spanish, Portuguese, Greek, and more. Finally, Orchard Core supports all major site building approaches. You can use a full CMS mode. Orchard Core fully manages both the admin and the front end. No coding required, just configuring, manage, and use the provided templates. The decoupled CMS mode, you host a standalone instance that still provides an admin interface. As a .NET developer, you can write your own code within the same project and create templates using Razor or other supported languages. This assumes familiarity with .NET and ASP.NET, making it more suitable for expert developers. If this doesn't appeal to you, there is a third option, and the third option is the headless CMS mode, where Orchard Core exposes an API using GraphQL, allowing you to query the relative content for a separate front end. Your front end application can build using any technology: Angular, React, Node.js frameworks, and MVC if you're a .NET developer, or other stacks. The key is calling the API and fetch and render your content independently from the CMS. So let's see the tools you're going to need to install in your system before we start following those lessons. You will need the Microsoft Visual Studio. If you don't already have it, you can download the community edition of Microsoft's from the Microsoft website. That is free and is capable of building any Core application. If you have an MSDN license and you have the professional or the enterprise version of Visual Studio, feel free to use this instead. Some developers prefer Visual Studio Code. For my series, I will use Visual Studio 2022, but you are welcome to use whichever environment you are comfortable with. Next, we're going to need to install a database. Core supports a number of different databases that include Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, SQLite. For those lessons, we recommend using SQL Server, specifically the free edition. It's widely supported, easy to configure, and preferable by many developers. You can download it from the Microsoft website and install it locally. And finally, you will also want to have the SQL Server Management Studio to interact with and manage your databases. It's also free and is also available from the same site. You can find the download links down on the description of this video. Once you install the Visual Studio, you install your SQL Server and the Management Studio, visit the core website to learn how to install the Visual Studio project templates. The Core team provides templates to simplify the setup. Open your command prompt in administration mode and run the command shown in the video. At this time of recording, Core is in version 2.1.7. Although the community releases regularly updates, updating those templates, and so make sure you install the latest version of the Visual Studio templates that is available on the website. Okay, and well, we are ready to start and create the first website for using Core. So we open Visual Studio, we click create a new project, and in the filters of your dialog box in Visual Studio, you will have the selection of Core as project types, and then you can see 5 different project templates that you are available to select with. You should select Core CMS Web App and you click Next. Now name your project My First Site. Okay. Make sure you have the right location you want to put your project, and then click Next. The target at the moment for the Core version is .NET 8, so make sure you target .NET 8 if you use 2.1.7 Core, and then you click Create. And here we are, we have a solution with the necessary files that you can start and run your website. If you go under the dependencies of your project and under the packages, you will see that the project is referencing on a NuGet package called Core application.cms.targets. This is the package that will provide you most of the functionality that we're going to see later on. Okay, so let's start our website by clicking to the IS Express. And the first thing you're going to see is the setup page of Orchacore. Okay, so you need to type the name of your website here. So this is my first site. Okay, so I also need to select the recipe that I like to start my setup of Orchacore. As we said, there's different type of modes you can start your website to. So if you see in the selection on the menu, you have the software as a service where you able to create multi-tenant websites on your setup. We're not gonna use that at this time. You have also the headless one that we're gonna use probably in the later series and lessons. We want to select at the moment the agency, who is a default website already created by the Orchacore team, and we also want to select which database we're going to use. So as I said before, Orchacore supports different type of databases. You can see MySQL there, SQLite. What we're going to use for these lessons, we're going to use SQL Server. Okay, so select SQL Server, and then we need to provide the connection string for our SQL Server database that is running locally. Okay, so if I paste the connection string and I just look on it, so I see I'm targeting on my local host. The name of the database I'm going to create is my first site. It's a trusted connection, and you also want to put a trusted server certificate equal to true on your SQL Server connection, so it doesn't cause you any problems with server certificates. Also, you need to put a couple of things for the super user account. So normally I name locally my super user account admin. I'm going to put a fake email address here, and then I'm going to insert a password for my super user. So super user is the user that is having access to everything in Orchacore. So before I click finish and set up, I want to create the database that I just specify here with the name my first site database in my local host. So I'm going to open my SQL Server Management Studio. I will connect, and then what I want to do is I want to right click on the database folder, says new database, and then give the name my first site to the database and click OK, and that will create my SQL database that is empty at the moment. I have nothing in there. So what I will do now, we'll click finish on the setup page, and it will generate everything needed for Orchacore. And here we are. We can see the first, the front end of the website, which is the first page of our website that is automatically being created by the recipe theme template that we select in the setup. Okay, now if we like to access and modify the site, you need to type /admin, and then you go to the admin area on Orchacore, by the actual user you put or the email address you have, and then you also want to put the password you set up, and then here we are. We have been it's more light. So this is the dashboard of Orsa Core, and this is the end of our first lesson. In the next lesson we're going to look on a couple of those menus, and I'm going to explain how you can use them. Thank you.